Welcome to the Tadier podcast. Let me paint a picture for you. I feel like we've all been here. When we get to the end of the day and we look back at our day and we look, what have we actually achieved? What have we been doing? Have we been spending time with our loved ones, or have we been on our phones? And that's the topic of this video today. I really want to go over being present and giving you tips to be more present within your day-to-day life. And this will only make your life more richer. So I truly want to thank you for clicking on this episode, and please carry on listening if these are the sort of things you want to hear. But it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently, because presence isn't just passive. We really have to put in effort, and we have to be intentional throughout our day to truly be present. And this could be in many different ways, because when we go through the day, there's so many things trying to take our attention, and we can't allow that. We have to kind of pull back from that and think, what do I actually want from this day? Do I maybe want to obviously spend time with my loved one and truly be there with them? Or do I want to be sat on my phone scrolling? And I know that's like kind of ironic, because you're clicked on a podcast here and you're listening to me. But if I could get anything from this video, it would be for you to do this with being present and intention. If you're going to obviously go on your phone, and we all do, we've all been there, then please, I beg you to just do it when you're truly wanting to, and not when these devices are pulling you towards them. And this could be anything. It doesn't even have to be a mobile phone. And we have work, we have TV, we have drugs, we have alcohol, all these different things pulling us in different directions. And that's why we truly have to be present and aware of these things. So today, I just kind of want to help you think over a few things, and just remember that we're open-minded here. If you have anything that you can add to this conversation, then please do, because I'm truly thankful for any listeners that I have right now. But lately, I've kind of been asking, what happens when you actually arrive in the moment that you're in? And it's a difficult question, because I don't think a lot of us don't know, we think like we have preconceived ideas of what that means. But my kind of definition of arriving in the moment and being present is that all my 100% focus is on that one thing. If I'm getting a text message or some messages, or like someone's trying to, obviously, if it's an emergency, we answer. But if I've asked someone to go for a coffee and I've met them at that coffee shop, then I want to fully give them my undivided attention. And it's the same with work. If I'm working, then I want to give my work that undivided attention, because we don't want to give 50% to each thing that we're doing, because then at the end of the day, you're going to look back and you don't have the life which you want. Because how can you if you're only given 50% of yourself to everything? And that's why I kind of want to keep us focused on what we can do to help these things. But first of all, I kind of want to ask you a question. When was the last time you were fully where you were, without escaping for the next moment? Because I do it all the time, and I'm not trying to be superhuman or pretend like I don't do it too, because if I'm totally honest, we all do. And it's a continuous game of trying to be present in that moment. And that could be through practicing meditation. That could be through just taking a few seconds to fully look around and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And all those things can help. But yes, I just kind of want to ask you, when was the last time you were fully where you were? Fully in that moment, and your brain wasn't somewhere else. It wasn't worrying about work. It wasn't worrying about what you're going to have for dinner. It wasn't worrying about text message did I just receive. Because what I'm realizing as obviously I age is that I want my relationships to be richer. I want my passions to be richer. I want the work that I do to be better. And I truly don't believe that we can do that if we are tied to something else in that moment. I can't give my partner like my full love and undivided attention if I'm getting pulled in another way. And we all do it. We do. And that's why we have to think about this and be conscious about this. But I do have a little kind of story, and this is what kind of prompted this episode in my mind. So I was basically at like a coffee shop and I was going to grab a coffee with a friend. And while we obviously got into the coffee shop, they were like, what coffee would you like? And I was ordering it. So then we went and sat down and I instantly got on my phone. And I was looking at this phone and I was obviously scrolling and I was like, oh, so what's happening here? And what messages have I got? What have these social media influencers posted online? And then I kind of like caught myself in that moment. And I looked up and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I apologize for this. And they didn't really even notice because they were doing a similar thing. But just catching myself in that moment meant that I had more time with this individual. But it made me realize how like all of us must be doing this and how many rich experiences we must be missing out on. Because we do. I truly believe if we're always kind of focused on something else, maybe you want to get your work finished, or in my situation, and it was a coffee shop, I missed out on so much because when I looked up, I could instantly like see all the other humans around me. I could smell the coffee beans. I looked out the window and it was such like a beautiful sunny day. And these are all things that like I was just totally missing. And what was I missing it for? I was missing it for social media. I was something that in that moment was not giving me more value. Like, yes, I gain value from social media, but I don't gain it in that moment. Like when I'm there having a coffee with my friend, I should be focused on them. I should be focused on the life that I'm living in that moment rather than this secret, like fake world within my pocket, which is what obviously social media is to a certain extent. Like it's real, like obviously it's real, it's tangible, but it's not physical. And in that moment, it wasn't bringing me value, but I was tied to it. And this could happen in so many different ways. And this is why I kind of wanted to just bring up this story, because I know so many of us kind of have this difficulty. Like maybe we're addicted to our phone. Maybe we're addicted to alcohol. Maybe we're addicted to drugs. And at the end of the day, like all these things bring in different, obviously they're different things, but they're all doing the same. They're all numbing us. They're all taking us out of the moment so we don't have to feel that in the moment. And a lot of the time it's not even conscious, because as we've grown up, we've forgotten kind of what it feels like to be in the present moment, because our society does train us to be out of the present moment. And maybe it's not even intentionally, because I know obviously the currency is attention. The currency for obviously social media channels, it's even right now, like the currency that I'm wanting is your attention. And I would say my motives are more positive and less of like a negative thing, but still wanting your attention. And these huge corporations, what they are wanting is that they're fighting for your attention. And that's okay. Like, we can give them our attention, but we should be giving them our attention when we want to give them our attention. We should not be held, or we should not be controlled by them. We should be the ones controlling our devices. If we like drinking alcohol, we should try to control that. And by control, I don't mean obviously like a control freak, like I need to control everything in my life. But when it comes to things that can be detrimental with time, like social media can be detrimental, and it could be negative to your health if you have too much of it. It's the same with alcohol, and it's the same with drugs. It's the same with most things in life. If you have too much of it, then that is a negative thing. But sometimes if you have a perfect amount of it, that can enhance your life and that can enrich it. And also you can enjoy it more. You can cherish it. If I'm always given unlimited amounts of chocolate, let me use chocolate as kind of an example. If I have unlimited amounts of chocolate and I eat chocolate every day, obviously this would make me unhealthy and it's negative for me, but also I would not appreciate it. And that's why we have to be present, be mindful, and enjoy them in small doses. And it's the same with like your family. If you are at work for say 8 to 9 hours a day, or maybe longer depending your job, you get home and you only have those few hours to spend with your family. And I know you're probably tired, but you can control whether you spend that attention you have on the TV or on playing Xbox or PlayStation. You can control that and think, okay, maybe I can do both. Maybe I can give my son undivided attention for an hour till he goes to sleep. I've traveled home, I'll give them undivided attention for an hour instead of being on my phone half-heartedly while my child is trying to get my attention. And obviously I do not have a child, so it's probably not the best example. I know parents out here are very tired, but I also believe that if you do that, you'll get a more enriched experience in both ways. You'll enjoy that time with your son. You'll enjoy playing PlayStation even more because you're not trying to go on your phone at the same time. You're not trying to multitask and pull your attention in so many different directions. And this is a real problem within our society too. I saw like a statistic that said, I think that 47% of individuals in America, that they have like undivided amounts of attention which they're putting towards different obviously devices, and it's leading towards more ADHD, which I think it was like they said that ADHD between young individuals has gone up by 47% or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the metric, but it's gone up dramatically. And we know that there's been numerous studies about ADHD rising within younger individuals, obviously because their brain is developing, and they put focus into so many different like directions. Like when I was a child, we would have to go find a game to play. Like, yes, we might play like PlayStation, but we'd be focused on that one thing. Where now they're able to scroll, like we're all able to scroll unlimitedly and get hits of dopamine after dopamine. And our body isn't used to that. It truly isn't. So yeah, that coffee kind of story is something that I think can really kind of help you frame it where you've seen it in your life, because we've all had those coffee moments. We have, like, every single one of us has had those coffee moments. So please, when you're having your coffee moment, just try take a second and be more present, because presence isn't about doing nothing. It's about being fully inside the moment and what you're doing in that moment. And it got me kind of thinking of like, in society we have these like lies that have been told to us, or that we tell to ourselves. And one of those kind of like lies, which I fell kind of victim to telling myself tons of times, is I'll be present, or I will give that person my full divided attention once the work is finished. And what I begin to realize is that work never finishes. We're in this day and age, we're so busy, we're so kind of wrapped up in so many different areas of our lives. We're trying to survive by working the normal day jobs. And then some of us have side hustles. Some of us have passions. Some of us just have normal day-to-day things that we need to do. And we tell ourselves that we will give attention to these things when we have the capacity to, when we finish doing this. But what I would say to that is, how about if you're fully present in those moments that you're doing your work, and then at a certain time you switch off and you say, okay, that is that done, and you move on and you think, okay, now I'm spending time with my partner, I'm going to be fully present within that moment. When I next go for a run, I'm going to be fully present in that run. And what tends to happen is that these different areas of your life start becoming more fulfilling, and you actually get more done, which is the funny thing. Like, what you'll begin to realize when you do this is that, oh, I was wasting tons of time, like, throughout the day. Like, how long was I wasting on Instagram? Like, we can all kind of test this by getting our phone out, opening our screen time, and maybe you have like 5 hours, maybe you have 8 hours. Who knows I don't know what time obviously you have on your phone, but if you were to take those times and put them towards what you're needing to do, and also what you're doing anyway, you're going to free up tons of time to be present. And that's it. Present is about being present in each moment, each thing that you do, putting your full undivided attention and energy into that, and it will only enrich your life. But that's the thing also, is that we try to tell ourselves these lies where I guess they're not lies, but we're deceiving ourselves, because we're saying, I will give my attention to that person, or I will, once I finish work, I will do this thing. But in real life, there's no perfect condition. I can't complete my to-do list every single day, and that's okay. We strive for greatness, and we strive for the best that we can do. But we also want to live the life right now. I understand you all have dreams. I know you have dreams. We all do. Even if they're dormant, your dream is there. But if we're not present in our moment, our life is going to kind of pass us by, because life is short. It's not like, yes, like 80 years, 70 years. I think the average kind of lifespan is 72 years for a male, or something along those lines. And that is not long. So don't you want to be present and enjoy and truly be there in your life and feel how rich it is? Because I know I would like that. And I would truly like that for you too. I would. I have like a bit of like a metaphor that comes to mind when I think about stuff like this. And it's like being on a train and only looking out the window for a glimpse of a final stop, while the entire landscape of your life rushes past. And that is so true, because we go through these days of like, where we have so much going on, and we get to the end of the day and we're like, where did that even go? Like, I'm not even sure what happened. And that's like the train. Like you're sat on that train and you don't even have your eyes open. It's all rushing by. And that's something I think we all have to kind of be continuously working on. And here's what like people do miss. Like people miss this, like when they're kind of going through day to day. And it's that we don't need more control. We need more awareness. So obviously earlier I said that obviously we need control of certain things like alcohol, of how you're kind of taking in, consuming. But if you have awareness, then the control isn't going to be needed as much, because you're going to be aware that that's not good for you. You're going to be aware that you don't need that. You're going to be aware of the current moment and what truly serves you. But there's also a deeper kind of layer to this. And it's basically that being present isn't something that happens when the stars align. It's a practice. And what I mean by that is that we have so many tools that people on the internet are teaching, that people around the world are teaching. And the amazing thing is that there's so many amazing wellness kind of teachers. And I know wellness has a certain like attachment to it that people can kind of shrug their shoulders and feel negatively about it. But we're in the time where we have so many tools to be present. One that I truly use every single day and I think would help anyone is meditation. There's studies that come out that say 45 minutes of meditation a day produces new neurons in your brain. So basically you're becoming smarter, you're able to be more aware due to this. And that's incredible. I think that's truly something like we have to be in awe of, is that we can kind of control our growth, and also we're in control of making a better life for ourselves and to enjoying our life more and making the lives of people around us better. Because that is, like, I know for me, like I want that more than anything. But presence isn't a feeling you like wait for either. It's a habit you build. So for me, my kind of like practice, which I've been doing for close to 5 years now, is that I just do some meditation in the morning. And it's not long and it's not crazy and it's not like it's an evolved process, because how I want to start off my day is that I want to be present. I want to be aware. So yes, when I'm there and I'm meditating, I'm processing my breath. I'm keeping focus on my breath. And over the years, it's made me more aware. It's made me realize what is truly important in my life. And obviously we have ups and downs, and sometimes I miss days, and that's fine. And it's not about just doing it like mindlessly every day. It's about being mindful when we actually practice, because we're humans and we're not perfect. We strive to be better, but perfection, like I truly believe, is something that isn't obtainable. So we'll try to be better, and that is obtainable. Everyone can become better. But there's something that I kind of want to talk about in terms of like, there's a trap that we can fall into. Sometimes we convince ourselves that we're resting, but are we truly resting? We're kind of there just scrolling mindlessly. We're multitasking. We're just watching TV for hours on hours. And TV and scrolling and multitasking and all these things are fine in short kind of spaces, and if you're doing them intentionally. So for me, as time has gone on, if I'm going to watch TV, if I'm going to kind of scroll, if I'm going to be there with my partner and I say, I'm just going to scroll on my phone for a little bit, are you okay with that? Like, is that, I feel, or maybe I've given them enough attention for that day. Or maybe, yeah, like maybe you've spent a lot of time with them already and you've been out and you've done all the things that you need to do. And now it's fine to scroll. Like you're doing it with intention. You're doing it because it's what you want to do, not because it's what the phone wants you to do. It's not programmed you to act in that way. Because a lot of time with those kind of things too, if we kind of focus on other things like obviously multitasking, and we spend all our time scrolling and we call that relaxation, how come when we get out of it we feel more tired than when we left? That's because our brain can't tell the difference, because that's a lot of information. Like, we're not supposed to be seeing 200 different people's stories about what they've done in this great world, or maybe some memes or stuff like that, because that is still something our brain has to process. So yeah, like I feel real kind of rest requires stillness and also requires presence. So if I'm like, some of the best times I can think about resting is when you go to the beach or something like that, and you're not even looking at your phone. You're looking out at the sea. You're looking out at how sunny it is, at the trees around you, at the people having fun with their kids, or like you're having fun in the water, throwing a ball. And don't you get back from those times and think, oh, like I feel energized, I feel great, even though maybe you've been like doing physical things. Like, there's tons of times I've gone for a run and then I come back from this run and I'm energized. And that's because during that run, I was present. It's because during that run, I was taking the time to look around me and to appreciate the things around me and be grateful of it. And people think that being present requires like intense focus all day. And that's just not true. It just means being awake to your life. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, I'm being present right now, talking to you, focusing on speaking. If I wasn't present, then I wouldn't be able to create this video. And if you're doing things where you're truly present, you should only be able to focus on those things. Your mind shouldn't be worrying about what happened last week in the office, or the argument that you had with your partner, or the argument that you had with your parents. It should be focused on that one singular moment. And there's so many kind of different ways to be able to do this. Like, there is tons of different kind of methods and kind of practical things that we can do to kind of bring this into fruition. And I kind of want to go over the ones that I truly believe work and the ones that I think can bring some value to your life. So how do you actually live this out? Like, this is what I want to go over, like, especially in obviously how loud and fast and over the top our world can be. How can we actually implement these things? And that's something I want to go over here. So let me just give you a few kind of powerful, kind of small ways that you can kind of bring into your life very easily. Like, I'm not going to make them overcomplicated. I want it to be something that you can digest and something that you can bring into your life straight away. So it's something that I call catch the drift. And it's got kind of like a funny kind of slogan, but what I mean about that is trying your best to notice when you're drifting. So we've all had it, like when we're at work and we're thinking ahead, like to or maybe we're in a meeting, that's probably better, or a meeting with a friend, and we're thinking about what just happened with our partner just before, or we're thinking about what happened with a friend a year ago, or we're transporting ourselves onto a holiday that we're going to be on soon. And that's all great. Like, we have exciting things happening in our lives, and maybe there's some not so exciting things and negative things in our brain. the one thing that could really help your mind is if you try to be mindful and catch that drift. Please, like, just try slow down and think, oh, when you're thinking about, or you're just about to go scroll, you catch yourself. You just start scrolling, you're on a third reel, and you stop and you think, no. And at that point, you've cut the kind of routine habit which you've created. And now in your mind, if you've done that once, what's to stop that happen a second time? And what's stopping you making that become a habit? Nothing. If you do truly start doing that, then it will become a habit over time that your brain thinks, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I actually scrolling? You'll second guess yourself. And in times like that, that can be the thing that can really get you back into the present moment. And another thing I kind of want to also think about is micro returns. And what I mean by that, it kind of works in tandem to my previous one, which is take 10 seconds to come back to your breath. So maybe I've caught the drift. I've caught myself scrolling mindlessly. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 seconds just to breathe. I'm just going to breathe through my nose. I'm going to breathe through my nose and then exhale through my mouth. And I'm just going to take 10 seconds to do this over and over again. And what you'll begin to see that happens is, because you're focusing on your breath, it's kind of weird as humans. You'll start to realize when you focus on your breath, it's actually very difficult to be able to focus on many other things. And it kind of brings you back and makes you feel grounded. And that's that can be a helpful tactic. It can truly bring it can just be a helpful tactic for you. Another one could be create phone-free products. And what do I mean by, and I said that totally wrong there, but phone-free pockets. And I apologize for obviously mispronouncing it. But basically what I mean by that is that we want to have little pockets throughout the day where we don't have to go on our phone, where we actually abstain from going on our phone. Instead, we say, okay, at 7 to 8 p.m., I'm going to stay off my phone and I'm going to spend time with my son. Or when I go for a coffee with my friend, I'm going to stay off my phone. Like I can have 4 till 5 and go on my phone. Like that's great. But 7 to 8, I'm going to go for that coffee and just be fully present with my friend. And what you'll begin to see is that those times become easier, that you grow this muscle, you grow this habit that when you start going out with your friends, or when you start being in meetings, or when you're spending time with your son, it's going to be second nature. You're going to be like, yeah, why would I want to be on my phone right now? Like, I'm loving this interaction that I'm having. And it's so much more of an enjoyable experience now. I promise you that will begin to happen. So please use that one. Create the phone-free pockets. Another one that is incredible, and this is actually something my partner kind of taught me, was name what you're doing. And this sounds super simple and kind of a little bit dumb, but it's not. It's incredibly tactful and it's incredibly intelligent, just for a pure reason that when we speak things out, they normally become true in a certain, our brain is like, oh yes, I am. So what does it mean by name what you're doing? So say I'm having a coffee, or I'm sitting with a friend, or I'm sitting with my partner. I'm just going to pronounce that. I'm going to say, I'm making a coffee. I'm spending time with my partner, just to kind of let your brain know that this is what I'm doing. You're reminding yourself this is what I'm doing and it's intentional. And I'm the one that's facilitating this. And once you do that, you start to realize that it tends to be more natural and that your brain processes it and it's like, yes, I am. And I'm not going to do anything else in that moment. So name what you're doing. Please give it a try. And also, I want to my last kind of point is practice gentle interruptions. And what do I mean by that? When you notice yourself kind of escaping, because we all do it, we try to escape, and normally it's from mundane things like going on a phone. Just kind of like give yourself a pause, smile, and come back. And know that obviously you doing that when you're with a friend and you pulled out your phone and you paused and you've taken your time to realize, okay, that's not what I want to do. That is not a failure. That is actually, you've caught yourself. And even if you are on your phone scrolling and then you catch yourself and you practice this gentle reminder, this gentle interruption, you'll feel this kind of like positiveness and reinforcement because you've actually caught yourself. Even if you've been doing it for 10 minutes, even if you've been doing it for 20 minutes, you've caught yourself. And well done for you for doing that. You'll be thankful, or we all will be thankful for that. And at the end of the day, you don't need like a new life. You don't need anything different than what you have in this moment, the one that you're already in. Because it will become so much more rich if you're actually living it. Because a lot of the time when we're spending this time outside of our actual kind of self and we're on these phones scrolling, or we're not paying attention to our partner, we are losing time. We are making our life less high quality. And we want a high quality life. We want a life that we can be proud of. And I truly believe you can create that for yourself. And I truly believe that we can all just take the time to become better at doing that. But yeah, I'm so thankful that you guys are taking the time to kind of go through these things with me and just kind of allow me to kind of speak my thoughts, because it's lovely to have kind of like a platform where I can do this now and where I can articulate myself and where you guys can articulate yourselves. And this is just for you. Like, this is to hopefully bring more value to your life. But let me just leave you with a few questions. A few questions which I kind of want you to answer. And you can answer them in your journal. You can answer them in the comments section. You can even just answer it in your mind. But where do you tend to leave a moment, and what would it look like to return more often? Where do you tend to leave a moment, and what would it look like to return more often? And this is such like a interesting kind of question, just for the pure reason that we all have these certain areas in our life that we try to kind of escape. And that can be unhealthy. We can try to numb ourselves using social media. We can try to kind of escape. And I just want you to be aware of what kind of that area is, so that maybe you can go back to the parts in this video and implement them and improve it. That's the only thing we can do, really, is try to improve. Another one is, what small shift could you make today to feel more awake and more alive in your life? What small shift could you make today to feel more awake and more alive in your life? Ask yourself this question. So we all have these tiny little areas, and maybe you're doing amazing in life, but could you do 5%, 10% better? Maybe you're crushing it in work, but maybe your relationship could take some work. And that's where presence can truly do that. And I'm proud of you for watching this video to kind of get to this point and to know that. Another one would be, what would your day feel like if you slowed down by just 5%? Because a lot of the time, 5% isn't a massive loss. Actually, slowing down by 5% can let us be present, implement this kind of framework, and then we might gain satisfaction from our life in other areas. And we've only slowed down 5%, but we've actually gained more in our life. We have more of a satisfying life. And isn't that what you want? Like, let me ask you this question. Is that not what you want? Because I know for me, I want a more satisfying life. You can't experience life in a meaningful life. You can't experience a meaningful life from distance. And sorry about keep stumbling over my words. I'm still kind of trying to get better at this podcast thing. And there's certain things that I kind of like think about in my mind and it comes out totally different. But let me just repeat this. You can't experience a meaningful life from a distance. You need to be right there. You need to be holding it. You need to be experiencing it. You need to feel it. And sometimes we're behind a wall of feeling numb that we can't experience it. And that's why all these kind of things throughout this channel are to try to get us back to that moment where we can appreciate life, where we can enjoy life. And here's where I'll land kind of today from this video. You don't have to be perfectly present. You really don't. You just have to notice and come back again and again. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be perfect. We just have to notice and come back again and again and try to be better. And that's for work. That is like the invitation. And let this be the moment you return. Like, I beg you, like, let this be the moment that you return. My final kind of thought for today, going over this topic of being present, is you don't need to overhaul your life to feel present. You truly don't. You just need to notice the coffee line, the morning light, the people in your life that love you, the people in your life you cherish, the small things when you're walking to work, when you smell the trees, where you hear the car going past you, where you hear your footsteps, when someone is trying to give you their attention because they love you. It's literally just one moment at a time. And then you're awake in your life. Like we can all do it. I just beg you, please do not miss it. Thank you, guys. This has been the Tadier show. And if you have any kind of options for kind of episodes, please do not hesitate to put them in the comments. Ask me questions. Give me topics. Like, I am down to answer your questions. And I am down to take your kind of different ideas. And I just thank you. Remember, be present. Thank you, guys.